Welcome to part 1B of my Anakin Skywalker Character Analysis. If you haven't seen part 1A yet, then I highly encourage you to do so. I'll throw up the title card and place a link in the description to it. In today's video, I'll continue my case for Anakin as the greatest Star Wars character, looking at his role in Episode 1. So without further ado, let's get into it. And so, Anakin and Qui-Gon would embark on their adventure together, being met with peril almost immediately in the form of the return of the Sith.
Qui-Gon, sir, wait, I'm tired!
Anakin, drop!
Imagine if he didn't. Anakin gets his first glimpse at the Sith as they're attacked by Maul, and with Qui-Gon's sword skills and Anakin's quick word to the rest of the team, they're all able to barely make it out alive.
What was it?
I'm not sure, but it was well trained in the Jedi arts. My guess is it was after the Queen.
What are we gonna do about it?
We should be patient.
This wouldn't be their last time that Qui-Gon and Maul would encounter each other, and their next and final meeting would pave or cement Anakin's path.
Anakin Skywalker, meet Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hi, you're a Jedi too? Pleased to meet you.
The future master and apprentice meet for the first time, as the brothers' destinies would be intertwined with one another beyond anything that they could have ever foreseen. And at last, the team would be on its way to Coruscant, and it would be on this trip that Anakin would only begin to feel the effects of flying away from the nest.
You alright?
Very cold.
You come from a warm planet, Annie. A little too warm for my taste. Space is cold.
While this is true literally, this is also true in a metaphorical sense, as choosing to live a life in space and going on adventures is one that leaves you away from the warmth that one feels when they're home. Even if he wasn't crazy about Tatooine, it still has his mother, and as they say, home is where the heart is.
I made this for you, so you'd remember me. It'll bring you good fortune.
It's beautiful, but I don't need this to remember you by.
Anakin shows again his compassion for others, as he cares for Padme, so he goes out of his way to show her what she means to him, hoping that the necklace would bring her good fortune, as that's all that he ever wishes for those that he deeply cares about.
Many things will change when you reach the capital, Annie, but my caring for you will remain.
I care for you too. Only
I miss your mother.
With the absence of his mother, Padme, along with Qui-Gon, would be the ones to fill the void. Although once he arrives on Coruscant, he would come to the realization that things will be very different, and he would have to grow up faster than expected, as not only has he had to separate himself from his mother, but almost immediately from his father figure that had promised to take care of and watch over him. What's worse is that when he goes to say his farewell to Padme, she's not there.
I've sent Padme on an errand.
I'm on my way to the Jedi Temple to start my training, I hope. I may never see her again, so I came to say goodbye.
We will tell her for you. We will show her how it goes with you.
Word of advice, Anakin, you're gonna have to start learning what she looks like with makeup on. My guy doesn't even recognize her. But really, this shows the big heart that he has, as he again goes out of his way to show her that he cares for her, and this care for others would be the focal point in his trials with the Jedi.
A ship? A ship. A speeder.
Anakin has his first test with the Jedi Council, and he seems to be passing them with flying colors, even getting a look of approval by Mace and Yoda, at least in the aspect that showcases his natural ability with the Force. But it's when they ask him about his mental state that the dynamic seems to shift.
How feel you?
Cold, sir.
Afraid, are you?
No, sir.
See through you. We can.
Again, Anakin uses the feeling of being cold to describe his state. This time, it's confirmed or called out by others that he feels this way due to the fear that's inside him. This is important, as stated earlier, Anakin gives everything 100% effort, including how he feels about something. So when he feels happy, he feels great, incredible, and warm. But when he feels sad, he's fearful and cold. The point is that whatever emotion he feels affects him so much to the point that it does so on a physical level.
Your thoughts dwell on your mother.
Afraid to lose her, I think. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
These words, more than any in the room would realize, would define much of Anakin's story, as he in many ways would represent fear in the saga, both being on the receiving end of it and delivering it to others. And it's that same fear, as Yoda would suggest, that would dictate many of Anakin's actions going forward throughout the story. This scene also sets the tone for Anakin's struggles with opening up to the Council, as they show that they don't believe in his ability to control his emotions even though he is the chosen one. In short, Anakin and the Council don't get off to such a great start, as they would go on to deny him a place with the Jedi that he feels deserving of. And it wouldn't be the last time either.
The Force is strong with him.
He is to be trained then?
No, he will not be trained.
No.
He is too old.
He is the chosen one. You must see it.
Clouded this boy's future is.
Even though Anakin is more than equipped to become a Jedi based on his Force sensitivity, the Council refuses to teach him, with a rationale that simply feels arbitrary. This reluctance sets the tone for Anakin's relationship with the Council as tense, in particular with Mace Windu, as he is the most avid follower of the Code and the best representation of what the Council has become. Anakin seeing Qui-Gon's reaction only furthers his confusion for why the Council is so against training him, so then he can only take it personally. In reality, as Yoda says, his future is unknown, but like Qui-Gon would say, that doesn't make him dangerous. It's this fear that they have of training him that would ironically be one of the catalysts that would spark Anakin's fall to the dark side, as they would never treat him the way that they should and focus on guiding him along the right path properly, one where they show him trust rather than distrust in nearly every one of his actions. And this critical nature of theirs would only be further amplified by the fact that he is the chosen one.
I will train him then. I take Anakin as my Padawan learner.
An apprentice you have, Qui-Gon. Impossible to take out a second.
The Code forbids it.
Obi-Wan is ready.
I am ready to face the trials.
Our own counsel we will keep on who is ready.
Here, Qui-Gon's faith in Anakin is solidified, as he's willing to defy the Council if need be, very much juxtaposing the Council, which further builds trust in him from Anakin, as he is the strong father figure that he needs in his life growing up. Now Anakin gets to witness it firsthand as he sees Qui-Gon stand his ground in his ideals, belief, and philosophy. All things that Anakin can get behind, as he aspires to be that way himself.
Young Skywalker's fate will be decided later.
Now is not the time for this.
And while the Council may have put a pin on the situation for now, Anakin is still lacking closure, as he would have to deal with more of this skepticism from the likes of those like Obi-Wan.
The boy is dangerous. They all sense it. Why can't you?
His fate is uncertain. He's not dangerous. The Council will decide Anakin's future. That should be enough for you. Now get on board.
Qui-Gon, sir. I don't want to be a problem.
You won't be any.
Obi-Wan is a further extension of the lack of trust and fear that the Council has in Anakin, and clearly it makes him feel like he is the problem. But thankfully, Qui-Gon is there to reassure him that it's not the case, as if he starts believing that, it would damage his psyche. And then, he could truly become dangerous.
I'm not allowed to train you, so I want you to watch me and be mindful. Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
These are wise words for Anakin, to be in the moment and nothing else, to focus on the positive rather than the negative, as every action you take will be affected by that. His thoughts on his mother and later his future wife are his main focus, and when others tell him to push those thoughts away, they're asking him to push away his reality. This would unfortunately be a theme for him going forward, as everyone he fears to lose dies, and every time he feels more and more at fault for it, losing his quasi-father, then mother, then wife, as that became his reality. In some cases seeing it into existence within his dreams, just showing how fear consumed his life, to the point that it became something unrecognizable in his pursuit to prevent the inevitable in death, rather than focusing on what he could control and the positive of the time he has with him.
Stay close to me, and you'll be safe.
This is true in a physical, mental, and emotional sense, as Qui-Gon anchors Anakin. He gives him guidance as he enters this scary big world, a protector that can be there for him and truly has his best interest in mind.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
Midichlorians are a microscopic life form that resides within all living cells. They continually speak to us, telling us the will of the Force. When you learn to quiet your mind, you'll hear them speaking to you.
I don't understand.
With time and training, Annie, you will.
Qui-Gon fully takes on the role of the fatherly sage to Anakin, expanding on the Force and its will, and how you can hear it with a quiet mind. Similar to the idea that you can tell the difference between the good side and the bad when you're at calm, at peace, and passive. This would be important for Anakin as he would struggle to quiet his own mind in the years to come, being an example of what happens when you listen to the negative voices in your head and begin to believe them. So the team would embark on their mission to return to Naboo, and Anakin would take Qui-Gon's advice of being mindful and use the trip as an opportunity to learn more about his passion.
Those are the forward stabilizers.
And those two control the pitch.
You catch on pretty quick.
It's another example of Anakin's brilliant mind, as contrary to his statement in Attack of the Clones, he's truly a fast learner. A good thing for sure, but something that would definitely begin to build his ego in the years to come. Although, once they reached Naboo, Anakin would show how his supreme intelligence, like anyone else, could be blinded by love, as the look of surprise on his face shows how clueless he was to Padme's true identity. And after careful planning, the team makes it to the capital to retake the palace and are greeted with droids providing resistance to reach Newt Gunray.
Once we get inside, you find a safe place to hide and stay there.
Sure.
Stay there.
Find cover!
In this chaos, Anakin can be seen as a bit of a liability, being easily the youngest in the group, so he finds cover in the cockpit of an N1 starfighter.
Hey, wait for me!
Anakin, stay where you are. You'll be safe there.
But I...
Stay in that cockpit.
Qui-Gon truly gets to be the father in this moment, as he has to discipline and lay down the rules for Anakin for his own good. Unfortunately, it would be the last time that the two would see each other, but as Qui-Gon said, he would be safe there, as flying was always where Anakin could feel safety and comfort, even in the most chaotic and troubling of times. Things go from bad to worse as Maul arrives, and so do the droidicas. And the last thing Anakin can do is sit idly by and watch his friends and newfound family suffer.
I'm trying to! I don't know where the trigger is! Oops! Wrong one. Maybe it's this one! Nope. Wait, here it is.
Anakin does what he does best and improvises, coming up with a plan of action and executing it, even if there are mistakes along the way, as it's part of the reason he's such a quick learner, as he's constantly making mistakes. And every mistake is a lesson in life, which is always a learning experience.
It's on automatic pilot!
He saves his friends, however, he's now being forced out of the atmosphere to join the space battle. Not only is this frustrating in the given scenario, but particularly for Anakin, as flying is the one place he feels freedom. And for the first time, that's being restricted or limited from him in the same way that life has been as a slave, always playing by someone else's rules and going down the path that they've laid out for him.
Look! There they are! That's where the autopilot's taking us!
Without realizing it, that station would be the key to making sure that they all won the day.
R2, get us off this autopilot! It's gonna get us both killed! Go back? Qui-Gon told me to stay in this cockpit, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Anakin's a real stickler for technicalities, as he would do the same throughout the trilogy, only truly following the rules by the letter, not the sentiment.
Protect the senator at all costs. That is your first priority.
I was beginning to wonder if you'd got my message.
I retransmitted it just as you had requested, Master. Then we decided to come and rescue you.
Good job.
This also shows his more rebellious nature, as he doesn't want to just play things by the book, as R2 would be suggesting here, a problem that would only increase as he got older and things such as sticking to the Jedi Code were in question.
I'll try spinning, that's a good trick!
Okay, maybe the autopilot was better.
We hit R2! Everything's overheated.
Anakin crash lands on the inside of the hangar of the droid space station, cornered by the droids, and he's not alone in this, as the same can be said for his allies in Jar Jar and the Gungans in the fields, and for Padme and her royal guard in the palace, as all hope seems to be lost.
Yes, we have power. Shields up.
Power is restored for Anakin's starfighter, and after a few torpedoes are launched, he saves the day, even if by accident. The Trade Federation ships begin to lose power and is soon after destroyed from the inside. Anakin flies out victorious in his first battle, as he showcases his knack and affinity to being a great pilot.
Now this is pod racing.
Anakin can celebrate as his good nature, sense of duty, and brave and altruistic mindset are what spearheaded the victory of the Battle of Naboo, as they reclaim the palace and rid themselves of the droid invasion. A classic Star Wars showcasing of the theme of good versus evil, emphasizing that good conquers all. And to truly bring home the idea of good versus evil would be the fight that occurred simultaneously to Anakin's in space, that being the Duel of the Fates. This infamous duel is perhaps one of the most significant lightsaber duels in Star Wars. The fight is filled with spectacle and excitement, but what truly makes it outstanding is the tension that's built and the consequences the duel has on the story. Said best by director and producer Dave Filoni. He's fighting for Anakin, and that's why it's the Duel of the Fates, the fate of this child. And depending on how this fight goes, Anakin's life will be dramatically different. Qui-Gon and Maul are reflections of what Anakin could become, the wise sage, accompanied by the family he chooses, or the lonesome warrior, only seeking to crave power. Maul fights for the Sith and Qui-Gon the Jedi. They fight not only for victory on that day, but for many to come, as the duel will determine the fate of Anakin Skywalker. With Qui-Gon being the closest thing to a father figure to Anakin, he stands as Palpatine's biggest threat to controlling the Chosen One. As a result of the battle, Maul is defeated, although unfortunately, so is Qui-Gon.
Promise me you will train the boy.
Yes, Master.
He is the Chosen One. He will bring balance. Train him.
And in Qui-Gon's dying wish, he asks that Obi-Wan continue his mission and train the Chosen One. And out of his love for Qui-Gon, he accepts this task without hesitation, not knowing the great challenge that would be in store for him. Again, best said by Dave Filoni. Qui-Gon knew what it meant to take this kid away from his mother when he had an attachment, and he's left with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan trains Anakin at first out of a promise that he makes to Qui-Gon, not because he cares about him. So he's a brother to Anakin eventually, but he's not a father figure. That's a failing for Anakin. He doesn't have the family he needs. This then being the perfect opportunity for Palpatine to fill the void in Anakin's life.
And you, young Skywalker, we will watch your career with great interest.
This could simply be seen as a kind moment of reaching out to a young boy during a hard time. However, this would truly be the beginning of spelling doom for Anakin, as he would begin a relationship with Palpatine that would have a profound impact on the entire fabric of the story, as Palpatine would fill the void of a father figure that Qui-Gon, the last true Jedi of his era, had once held. And with Qui-Gon's loss, the Council and Obi-Wan would be left to decide the next step in Anakin's path.
But agree with your taking this boy as your Padawan learner? I do not.
Qui-Gon believed in him.
All Obi-Wan needs is Qui-Gon's faith in Anakin, as that pushes him to want to take on Anakin as his apprentice.
The Chosen One the boy may be. Nevertheless, grave danger I fear in his training.
The Council still fears the unknown, and it would show in the years to come, only building more tension between both parties as Anakin got further into his journey to becoming a Jedi Knight.
Agree with you, the Council does. Your apprentice, Skywalker, will be.
What will happen to me now?
Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi. I promise.
Obi-Wan wants to make good on the promise he made Qui-Gon, and it's fitting that he tells Anakin this as they mourn his death at his funeral. As his own father figure dies, Obi-Wan will try to become what Qui-Gon was for him to Anakin, and Anakin would try his best to do the same. While the movie ends on a positive with Obi-Wan becoming Anakin's master, there's a distinct feeling of foreboding nature as Palpatine has begun to obtain power in the Senate, and the Jedi are unaware of what is to come. In the final shot of the funeral, the camera lingers on Palpatine, and the only things that truly stand in his way of getting to Anakin are shown visually in Padme and Obi-Wan.
A master and an apprentice.
But which was destroyed? The master or the apprentice?
Anakin got what he wanted, but at a tragic cost, as he lost the one who had been like a father to him. The big question left for Anakin being, can he live up to the expectation of not only becoming his childhood dream of a Jedi Knight, but can he carry the burden which would only grow and be thrust on his young shoulders as the child of prophecy. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I had a ton of fun making this video, so if you enjoyed it too, then I highly suggest liking the video. And if you want to see more like it, then definitely hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified when part 2 comes out, then hit the bell for notifications, or consider checking out my Patreon, where I'll be uploading videos there significantly sooner than on YouTube. So part 2 should be there available as I speak. And the same will apply to the next parts when they come out. And on that note, I want to give a shout out to my patrons. Your support means everything to me. And finally, let me know in the comments which Star Wars character has the greatest control over their destiny and why. And who knows, they might be in the next one. Until next time, try spinning. It's a good trick.